Thanks for sharing and liking the live. Appreciate it. It should probably be a little bit lower. There you go. Oh, dear. Haven't gone yet. Haven't gone yet. Your boy needs to get a bookshelf. Just don't have a place that I would like to necessarily put it. Maybe I can put it right there. Probably not a bad idea, honestly. You're gonna go tomorrow. You have a bit of a drop in Venice. I got a ton of sleep last night, but I worked out my butt off today in the gym, so I'm like, help. Oh, you where Janelle is? Hey, Kelly. Janelle is in, where is Janelle? I forgot. Anaheim? Fullerton? I can't remember. We're having an IKEA party. I will meet you in Costa Mesa. That'd be cool. Tired. I've been working all day, so I'm a little bit like, pew. Work. But here we are. Biggest howdy. We're going to attempt to work. Oh, I gave myself a crazy blood blister at the gym. Look at that. Crazy. I like it, though. I think it's kind of gemmy and pretty. You know why? Because I had my ring on this finger while I was doing like a bajillion pull-ups. And yeah, how many pull-ups did I do? Let's see. 105. 105. Not strict, of course, but chilling. Yeah, it's a lot. They were broken up into 15s, though. But yeah, that finger got, or that thing got hurt. I kind of like it, though. I think it's pretty. It's like kind of pinkish reddish. Like, crazy like this. Why are you crazy like this? So now you need to do less. Yeah, I need to do less. I'm quite tired. I'm so tired. Mind you, that was only part of the workout too. The rest of it was 5 handstand push-ups each time. So I did 5 hand-ups. And then I did 70 pistol squats. Am I tempted to pop it? Not at all. I have zero interest in popping it. And the reason is I don't like open blisters or open wounds of any kind. So I don't really get that urge. We're not popping anything. I don't believe in popping. We're not popping it. And I hope this caffeine kicks in and wakes me up. have to do that tonight. Oh gosh, guys, I have so many freaking things that I'm doing all the freaking time. And I'm like, oh yeah, you have to do that thing literally tonight after this live. Exactly, Nurse Chantel. You're not supposed to pop. That's how they get infection. Exactly. Oh, no, 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 no popping. No, 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 no. I don't want the infection. How dare you try to get me to have infection? What am I doing? So in other news, though, good news. Everything is uploaded for my sorry for everybody who lost me for a second. I went black, but now I'm back. Everything is uploaded. And then, yeah. So my audiobook, which by the way sounds great. I have to, sounds really good. And I love the music in the background that we're using for all of the exercises. Honestly, if I were you guys, I would get the book and get the audio version. And the reason is it's like a course. It's almost like a little class because now you have me guiding you through the exercises that you can do by yourself. And it's great. It sounds really good. I like the way it sounds. So it's going to be great. And yeah, so I just to figure out a date that works. I was considering looking at the astrology for it and electing a good day. But I don't know. Maybe I can't be asked and maybe I don't actually care, you know? Maybe I don't care that much about that. Maybe I can just have it come out, you know? Does it need to make a splash? Not really. People are going to want to buy it because they want the audiobook. So it's kind of like, you know, let the spirit speak to you. Yeah, I could. That would be a good idea. Just let the spirit tell me when to release it. But I'm excited because it's going to be really good. Oh, God. Okay, Cass. I have a question, but it's going to be a two-parter because it's too long to write in the comments. That's fine. I bought your book not long after it came out. I will definitely look into the audiobook too. Yeah, the audiobook sounds really good. It's great. It's really, really good. The person who produced it for me is if you guys follow, oh, what's their name? See, guys, my brain is just like dead. What is their name? Clairvoyaging, I think it's what it's called. Okay, Cass. I've had 2 readings, and both times I've been told maybe I'm not open enough / I'm still grieving. Okay. They weren't really able to bring me any evidence about my loved ones. I don't feel like I'm not open. Okay. Were these professional mediums or were these developing mediums? I've been listening to their podcast. I really enjoy them and your episode too. Yeah, it's Frank. Frank from them. He did my audiobook and he did a fucking great job. I mean, I rated it, of course, but he did all the editing. I'm not skeptical, just curious about your opinion on it. Yeah, so my first question would be, are these professional mediums? Are they developed mediums? Or are they developing mediums? Why do mediums use the same phrases like it's a script? Tell me what you mean. What kind of phrases do you hear repeated? Hi, Patty. Nurse Chantel says, I was told that once too, went to a different medium and boom, no problem. Exactly. One was recommended to me and one was my hometown medium. I know the one in my hometown has been doing it for a while. It's like it's a male energy. Okay. Because that's usually how the communications build. So as you are connecting into a communicator, yeah, why you would understand this. Yeah, exactly. So the reason that you say certain things, like for example, this feels like a male energy, a male presence, something like that, is because that's the first thing that you're noticing as they start to step into your energy. So oftentimes when you're connecting into the essence of a communicator, you're trying to bring forward evidence of who the person is. And you're narrating that as it's happening. Now, could you say, I have a father here, I have a guy named Robert? Sure. But if you don't have that information yet, it's not being given to you, really start with that. So a lot of people will start with, is it a male or is it a female? That's the first thing that usually. Second, can you understand this as a way to elicit a response from your sitter without having them say more information? So you're wanting them to say yes, no, I don't know, or I need more information, rather than, because you want them to respond, you want them to tell you yes, they can understand that, no, they can't, because the medium can be wrong. They might be incorrect. If the sitter's not able to take that information, then they need to know that, right? They don't want to be, being in their mind or something like that. So it's a way of making sure that they're not doing that. That being said, you can absolutely do a reading without any response sitter whatsoever. So that's probably why you're hearing that. It's partly done in training. So have been developed will often start with what the first things that they experience and they start to describe it. So that's generally why you're going to get things like, this is a male, they feel like this, blah, 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 because people usually start with the essence of the communicator first. So that's why you are probably seeing that. Secondly, you will likely see people say, can you understand that? Does that make sense to you? That sort of thing. For have them say yes, no, I don't know, or I need more information. What they shouldn't be doing is saying, who's John? Or saying things like, why am I seeing a rubber ducky? Right? Like if they start asking you questions that you then have to talk and answer, that's not a good sign. That doesn't always mean, but can mean cold reading. And oftentimes what you'll also hear from those same people is they'll say, why am I seeing a rubber ducky? And the person explains it. And then they go, yes, because what I was getting was blah, 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 blah. That's sort of related to what you just said. So it's a sign that someone feels not very confident or doesn't know how to unfold information. So they might deliver it in that way because they're not sure whether they're right or wrong. So you don't really want to be doing that. You want to learn how to unfold the information further without someone saying something like, here's all the information that you need to know. So that's probably why, Algeria, that you're seeing that. Hopefully that answers your question. I'm happy to discuss it further if you like more information. Correct, Cass. So that doesn't mean that she's necessarily developed. I don't need to splurge on book with you or Megan. I know I'd feel so much better. Yeah, I mean, maybe having that happen twice, maybe feeling really upset. So yeah, here's the thing. I would actually never tell a person that they're still well, let me explain this actually a little differently. I would never tell a person that it's their fault or they're not open enough. I don't actually believe that someone not being open enough is going to block me. If anything, I should actually be working harder to stay close to the spirit communicator and do my best to bring forward information for that person. But um, rather than be like it's them, I would never put it on blame the sitter. I would always say this is on me, because it is on me. If I'm not able to make a link that day, that has nothing to do with the person. That has everything to do with me. Now, in mediumship, there is a three-way conversation. So if someone really is like actively trying to be, skeptical or whatever, that that may create inhibition. But if the medium can stay really connected to spirit and really surrender to the spirit and not get distracted by the fact that their sitter's doing that, in theory, they can still make the link and still make the connection. So that's important to note. The other thing that's really important to also recognize, so A, I would never blame the sitter, and B, can being in grief make it difficult? Yes, but sometimes being in grief can actually make it easier because there's a greater need. And so it may not actually be that. Like, it may not be the grief piece. Sometimes when people are really, really in grief, it does kind of create a little energetic cloud that makes it harder to sense and feel presence with them. However, sometimes it actually does the opposite. Sometimes it makes it easier. Sometimes it makes it more obvious. Sometimes it makes it stronger. So we can't really say that it's because you're still in grief that you can't get that. I think if someone's really ready and feels ready to get a reading, then it should, in theory, work. But the other thing I think is important to mention is that not everybody is the medium for you. So, like, there's going to be people that, for whatever reason, the medium cannot connect to for them. That might not have anything to do with anyone involved. That just might be that the spirit has a better opportunity or a better way that they want their loved one to come through, something maybe that's more meaningful. So I actually find the moment that it does happen, it usually happens at the right moment for that person. So I don't believe that they should necessarily be saying it's because of this or it's because of that. I think they can just say I'm not connecting today, and that's it. Like, literally, it's me. I'm not connecting for whatever reason. But you should never blame the sitter, because I don't think it's necessarily their fault. And yeah, since you're not skeptical at all, and even if you were skeptical, that shouldn't block it either. Being a skeptical sitter actually can sometimes be create a better reading than being a super, super open one. It all depends on how the medium reacts and responds to the feeling. So if they're very uncomfortable with a skeptical sitter, they're going to feel more tension, and that's going to make it harder. If they have people pleasing tendencies, that's going to make it harder, because if the person's not pleased, they're going to feel something. So I personally don't think it's worth blaming your sitter ever regarding, whether, they get it or something. So I just want to say that as a thing. And it may not be that just those mediums weren't the mediums for you, and you just need to find the one that is. But obviously you want to do it with someone who does genuine work, Yeah, the idea that they're not open enough can be disheartening at times. Yeah, it's actually rude. Like, it's more to protect the ego of the medium that they might say that than it is to actually be true. So there's that. And if anyone says any other crazy things, like your loved one didn't make it to the spirit world, that your loved one doesn't want to talk to you, that your loved one does, and if anyone says anything like that, you need to get your money back from that person right away, because they don't know the foggiest thing about what they're talking about. Wrong pipe. Hello, Lisa Ray. My mom and dad both passed and would love to see what they have to tell me. Thanks for letting me know that, T. Just know that I prefer you not to put personal information into the into the chat because we have a lot of scammers that will like create a fake profile with my name and pictures just slightly changed. And then they're going to send you a message being like, I feel this from you. And then you're going to give them money. And then you're going to be sad when you realize they're fake and they're not me. So I just doing that more so to protect you, T, not because, you did anything wrong. I just don't want you to, have that happen. Hello, life is good. Welcome. I just want to protect you so you don't get scammed by people. So if anyone does message you and say, hey, I feel drawn to you, I have a reading, I do something about your energy to give you something, it's a lie, it's bullshit, it's a scam. Do not give that person money. The only way you can ever book with me, exactly, Katrina. The only way you can book with me is through my website, and that's it. So hey, Cameron. Thanks for being here. Nice to have you here. So yes. True, there is a hierarchy on the other side, like high and low vibrational people kind of hate that. I don't believe in low vibrational anything really. I don't find that to be useful as a concept of understanding. So no, I don't really use that. Do I think there's levels of awareness, meaning some people have more access to more information in the spirit world? Yes, I do think that like your loved one may not be able to see all the things that your spirit guide can see, right? And so I would say no, Chantal. I get so many DMs from scammers every time I follow the new content creator. Yep. Welcome to the life of that. That is the life of that. It's really annoying. Yeah, it's really annoying that people do the scamming thing. But then you also have people that have like 3 million followers, and then they are the ones doing scams and things like that because, they think that they can just tell people random bullshit, which is sad. And, not naming names, but maybe kind of naming names. I don't know. Not me getting annoyed. Phoenix visualization. Hi, your advice is spot on. Thank you. I appreciate it. How can you tell the difference between someone's spirit guides and a loved one? They feel very different. They feel entirely different. One feels like, I know this is going to sound so lame. One feels like a spirit, one feels like a guide. Guides tend to feel a little bit, I don't know, broader. I don't know how to say that. Like they have more access to information. You can kind of feel that versus spirit loved one has a different vibe. They just don't feel as broad in their awareness. I don't know. That's probably the best way I can describe that. Guys, I'm like literally still choking on a piece of tea. So forgive me while I clear my throat 7 million times. Which is probably why I have this slightly raspy voice. I noticed my spirit guides feel more like mentor vibe. That's a great way to put it too, Maki, for sure. Yeah, I mean, people making money off of their spiritual work. I don't really see a problem with that personally, because you're putting time, you're putting energy, you probably put money into training and development. I don't see anything wrong with that, obviously. But what I don't like is when people are scammers. That sucks. And then I don't like when people are actively harming people by telling them things that are just not true or evidential. Like telling someone their loved one didn't make it to the spirit world. There's no evidence to support that. Like, what the fuck are you saying? Like, you idiot. Sorry, I'm gonna curse now. One of my kids wants to change their sex. Can you possibly tap into the situation to help in some way? I'm so against. So, Lori, I don't really have advice for you other than you have a better push this again. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. The internet at my house is being weird and we have someone coming out to look at it. So apologies for that. Lori, I don't know if even you're still in this room, but I will say the best thing I can say is for you to try to understand it more than decide whether something is right or wrong for someone else. I don't know how old your daughter is, so I don't have any information. But I think no matter what, trying to understand why someone might have a sense of gender dysphoria is going to be a much powerful choice than outright just denying or being upset. Okay, so she's an adult, or they are an adult rather, and I want you to see if you can meet that with compassion and understanding. I know that you have a part of you that probably feels like the need to protect them, and I think what's more important is meeting them with compassion and understanding rather than any kind of judgment or deciding. And the reason I say that is because the outcomes that we see with people who experience gender dysphoria improve greatly when they have support and love from their family. And while it can be shocking and uncomfortable in the beginning, it's important for us to have a better understanding of the person rather than trying to pick a side. You may have your opinions, right? And this person, your child, needs to go on this journey with themselves and seek the professional support that they need or want. But I think for your relationship, it is a more powerful choice to try to find understanding and compassion than try to decide or change the outcome in some way. So I will say that. That's just a completely psychological answer, not a spirit led answer by any means, but I have a feeling that acceptance and love is what we lead with in the spirit world. And I know that that is what they will also be wanting to lead with in this situation. And honestly, we have parts of us that come up that feel the need to have thoughts, opinions, and feelings about those of the folks in our family, and we all have desires and wants for them. But as you know, with any child, we have to let them sort this through themselves. And so I will just emphatically say, love them first and foremost, care for them, try to understand them, and meet them with love and compassion. If this is something that they have been experiencing their whole life, that means that there's been a lot of internal dysphoria, pain, embarrassment, all of these sorts of things going on in there. I want you to be the support and maybe meet it with curiosity rather than any kind of judgment of it should go one way or the other. And I think being support and trying to help them understand the situation more would be more productive than trying to decide it. So I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm not going to tell you um, any specific direction of what you should go and do, but someone did mention that trans families, gender spectrum, and PFLAG are great resources for trans family members. So that may be something worth looking into to get more understanding. So because I know that is something that's hard for people to really understand if you haven't experienced it yourself. So, or if it's a new thing that you've never experienced. I don't know here, Cameron, but I just want to say the occasion for being live is every Monday I go live to do lives and chat with people and do readings. So I am going to be doing readings as well. Yeah, I can understand why you might maybe kind of come to the conclusion that only in the last few years when it became popular, that's something that they felt strongly about. But oftentimes don't have an Oh, there we go. We're back. So what I was saying is I know it may feel like it's due to something becoming popular, but I can assure you that I don't think that most people would ever want to do something just because it's a cool thing to do, especially someone at that age. And moreover, it's not an easy thing. I don't think anybody who experiences gender dysphoria would choose that for themselves, and it may be giving understanding or more information is available to them that now help them identify and understand something that they've been going through. But again, that's not for me to say whether that's right or wrong. That's not for you to say whether that's right or wrong. That's for this person to discover and explore for themselves. That is what needs right now. What is needed right now is understanding, exploration, discovery, expanding the discomfort that we might feel around a topic that we're very unfamiliar with. I feel that the more that you reach for understanding and exploration, and that you will have better outcomes in this situation. Are you co-teaching with Miranda in her courses? I'm co-teaching for the 6-week one. In the longer version, I am not co-teaching. She's doing that one on her own because it's not mediumship oriented, it's personal development oriented. And she is the professional in that one. But I do want you to know that I think there's power in reflecting on what's coming up for me around this topic. Why do I feel this? Why am I upset? And what would it feel like to acknowledge that as a part of me, and then kind of revisit maybe the core sense of me who can view my child as their core self, right? Their true self, their who and what they actually are and what they come with. So how do you get more information from the spirit with you're connecting with? Just wondering how you can get more info from the spirit you're connecting with. I feel like with me, I get a few bits of info and then it kind of stops, repeats like that. That's it. So the way that you do that is you learn how to surrender. Surrender is the key to getting more information. If you aren't surrendering, you will tighten up. So surrender really is the key to getting more information from the spirit world. The more relaxed and surrendered you are, the better your mediumship will work. Mediumship works when you're free, when you're indifferent about the outcome. But what often happens is some people start getting a little bit of information, and as soon as they start getting that little bit of information, they start to either listen to their reading and start to interpret things. They start thinking, okay, I'm getting something, now I need to get something more, and they start reaching for more information. You can't reach for more information. You have to let yourself just move with what is arising. So you have to continuously let go, continuously surrender, and not start to hard focus on the information. As soon as you do that, you're going to start blocking yourself. So it's very normal for people to, when they're starting to make a link, they stay nice and open, they stay nice and relaxed. And then as soon as they start to get stuff, they start to tighten up because they're like, okay, I'm supposed to get something more. So yes, I'm totally reaching. Yes. So you want to feel right now when you're working with the spirit world, it's a process of notice something, describing it, and letting it go, relax, and surrendering, right? Like the letting it go, relaxing, and surrendering is all one thing. What tends to happen is most people are overly focusing on the notice. So that means that they're going forward and they're trying to find the information rather than focusing on the letting go, focusing on the surrendering. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't know if Cameron's still here. I don't know if Lori's still here, but hopefully that was helpful in some way. Oh, what's up, Dana Willie? Dana, I don't think I know when your actual birthday is. Is it in my phone? Oh, my phone's over here. I can't really look at it. What year is it? Why is my calendar, bro? What is going on with my freaking computer? My computer's decided it wants to be crazy the last little bit, and it's freaking driving me nuts, bro. Yeah. Why is it so complicated to connect though? Spirit has so many rules or they won't connect? No. The problem isn't on the spirit side, the problem is on our side. So the challenge is us staying in a receptive state, not the spirit world. So it's difficult for us when like we are the ones that lose our attention, our focus. The spirit's chilling. The spirit's right there. They're waiting to be experienced. They're waiting to be connected with. But what happens is that our attention is what closes down. So when you're relaxed, open, and neutral, your like tube of information feels like this, nice and open, nice and clear. And as soon as you start to try and you start to effort, you start getting it smaller. As soon as you start trying to do something with it, it gets even smaller and tighter, and then nothing. And so now you've cut off the flow. So of course, new information can't come in because you've cut off the flow. So you have to relax, surrender, open, right? And then as you relax, surrender, and open, you will experience more. So everything that's occurring that's creating it to feel hard or whatever, it's when we try. The trying creates the difficulty. The surrendering, which feels hard to people because we're never taught how to surrender or how to let go, makes it more difficult. So if you were a person who was always taught how to surrender, let go, and do less, this would come very easily and naturally to you. But because where do we learn that in our lives? We don't ever learn that. Yeah. Lori says, I'm still here, but I can't accept this. Thank you for your advice, and I will always love her, but she's killing my daughter, and I can't accept this very well. Well, I think what's interesting about that is what's actually dying is the idea of who you believed your daughter to be, and also your view of what you see, how you see your daughter. And I think that what's a really important concept here is that, yes, it's reasonable for you to grieve. I think that there's nothing wrong with you grieving and feeling that and experiencing that. That is a real thing. And I think as family members of people who, transition, I think that it is okay for you to feel grief around this. That's your process and how you're going to emotionally deal with this. And I do think that there's a level of grief that we can experience. And it is still the same person. So it is still they are still at their core the same person that you love. They're just going to express themselves in a way that identifies more fully with who they actually are. And in reality, you're actually getting to meet the real them, the actual them, should this be true and right for them to make this transition. And I think that there's power and there's meaning in that, but there's no need to rush the process. I think there's an and here, rather than viewing it as all or nothing, like this is the end. It is an end of something, but it's not the end of your daughter. It's the end of how you interact with this person. It's the end of the way that you knew them. And you will find that that person is still there. That person that you love, that person that you have, they're not dead. The person that you love is still there. What's unfortunate for a lot of people in the trans community is that what causes them to die is rejection from their family. And I don't mean death of the way that we understand them. I mean, literally end up unaliving themselves because they don't feel support and love from the people that they need it the most. So while I can understand and have compassion for that loss, Lori, and I think that that's legitimate. I think that there's support that is available to you to work with that. The reality is that if that's true for this person, that is then going to be what's going to happen. And you have two options here. You have the option of learning to deal with the grieving process of this, or you have the option to reject it and lose your, as you know them now, your daughter in relationship, and potentially even more if they feel like they don't have the love and support that they need. So I just want to offer you that as one, accepting that you will feel grief and that this will be a transition. It is hard. And I don't think that it's not. I mean, there's an option for it to be hard. I think that that is a reasonable thing to feel for a parent. I know for myself, when I came out gay, my mother grieved to some degree, even though my whole life she was very supportive, but she also grieved for the life that she is. She also had to grieve for the life she thought I was going to have. She also had to grieve for the danger that was going to put my life in, right? And so there's absolutely understanding around the grief, and we have the idea of our children and who they are and what they're going to be and how they should go and be in the world and what we hope to see for them. But if this is something that she's been dealing with for a very long time, that they've been dealing with for a very long time, that's difficult. And I think that there's power in recognizing that this isn't just some fad, if this is true for them, and that this might be something that's important. I can't speak to that. I can't say whether that is true or not for them. Only they can. That's the reality. Nobody can. So if that is true, if they come to the conclusion that this is true for me, it's understandable to grieve. It's understandable to do that. And I think it's powerful and important to also recognize your loved one is still there. My job as a medium is constantly helping people to connect, and they often are talking about the things that they wish they would have done in life. They wish they would have said certain things, done certain things, wish they would have supported people. And I always say, live in a way that you don't even need a medium when you pass to the other side, because you've said and done and given all the things that you wanted to do in this life to the person that you love. And so I think that there's a really important message here that really we need to love each other through these difficult times and difficult transitions, including you. You need love too. You need support too. It's not easy. No one's saying you have to go this alone. But I do think that, and I shouldn't say but, and I think that it's a process. And right now it may feel like the world is ending, but like with all grief, we eventually grow from it and we eventually learn something from this. So those are my thoughts, Lori. You can take them or leave them, but I would definitely consider some of them at some point. Let me see what everybody's been saying. My aunt went through this and she saw she could still have all the same things, just looked different. Thanks, Kendra. I think that's a really good feedback. Yes, I refuse to lose my child from me not having been my best self for them too, overall else. Yes, absolutely this. A very real thing for parents to process. 100%. And Dana, I'm aware of your child's transition as well. So I don't know if you follow Lori Dana Willie, but that might be a really great resource to chat with, just so you know. Am I doing healings tonight? That's not necessarily on my docket. Thanks, Dana. Dana says she's happy to talk to you, Lori, if you need some support. And Dana's a medium. She's also an amazing person. She's one of my favorite people in the world, and has also a child who's transitioned. So that might be useful for you. Dana meets people with love, compassion, kindness, openness. So I would highly recommend checking out Dana Willie. You can find her at mediumshipwithheart.com as well if you are somewhere you can do that. So let's move on. Aw, you're welcome, Dana. But yeah, I mean, it's not an easy conversation. I mean, I think it's easy to want to just paint it black and white and just be like, you just must accept this. And like, look, I think that for the people that can just do that, great. But also, I don't think we should just throw everybody who has a hard time with that, or admits to having a difficulty with that, and just throw them out, because their feelings are real too, and that's difficult. For a parent, right? And but like for many things, not just that topic, like a parent wanting the best for the child, a child who falls into any kind of the LGBTQ spectrum, a child that scrapes their knees, a child that, has to have life-saving surgery, like all of these things. We want certain things for our children, and I think that it would be difficult. I often say when I have kids, holy mackerel, how am I going to survive that? Because my children, like, I'm going to want to protect them from every ouch, every pain, every hurt, every moment. And that's difficult, man. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I know I'll do it, but I just don't know how the fuck I'm going to do it, because that sounds horrible. Definitely. I'm agreed. Any change brings grief. We can love and grieve simultaneously. Same. How do you do a reading on someone that you know and not let facts that you know get in the way of the reading? So that's actually a really tricky thing for a lot of people. However, the very simple answer to this is you can always tell the person, if the spirit person brings up something, you can say, hey, they're bringing up this thing. I know I already know XYZ about this thing, and I'm going to see what else they want to bring. That's a very simple way to address the things that you already know, and then be relaxed and become open to the next thing that might give you more information about that. You and Matt were talking about how hard it is to be a parent tonight. Yeah, I can't even imagine. I'm going to try it, but oh my goodness. Like, what do you do when your heart is literally out there in the world making choices, driving cars, going out to bars, meeting strangers? What do you do when your heart just walks out the door every day, and you don't know where it's going to go or who it's going to meet or what it's going to do and who's going to be mean and who's going to hurt them, right? Like, that just sounds fucking horrible. Yeah, Auntie Dana will love on them big. Yeah, that's very true. Oh, that's a sweet thought. That makes me feel safer having children, knowing that I would have the support of you, and for them as well. Hello, Sherry Lynn. Sherry Lynn says trust. Yeah, trust the children, or trust like you believe that and agree. Yeah, especially when you already have anxiety, girl. Yeah, tell me about it. Yours are still little. Yeah, see, just keep them in. You don't have to. They don't have to go anywhere, right? They can just live happily in the little bubble, right? Oh my goodness, my youngest is getting his license. Has been the hardest. He's been the hardest. He's my karma. Then children, and they split their head open while you were babysitting. Any healings tonight? I was saying I wasn't planning on doing healing, but what's going on that you're looking for a healing? As a medium, do you believe in God or a dogmatic belief system? I don't believe in the classical theistic view of God, so meaning a God that is all-knowing, all-loving, all-powerful. I don't believe in the classical theistic view of God, no. I believe more in a sort of source consciousness that we are all connected and all a part of, and we are expressions of that. And yeah, so I would say my idea of God is more as a source of love, a source of consciousness through which all things exist and have their being. So like we exist within that. But I definitely don't believe in a all-powerful, all-knowing, sort of situation. A judging sort of God. I haven't done that to be real. I put my baby in helmet when she was learning to walk at 8 months old. That's hilarious. Yeah, psychic mediumship with a bit of community therapy tonight. That's exactly right. That often goes together. Oh gosh, we mold them and support them best we can, and then let them spread their wings and continue to support. My concern isn't so much my child being like not being supporting them into the best that we can. My concern is the rest of the world. that's my fear. Is everybody else. I have great say over the great human I'm sure I can help to develop. My concern is everybody else. So no problem. Just crazy back pains, aches going into pelvis area. Okay. Possibly. I could possibly work on you. It definitely can't be all powerful. Do we choose to reincarnate? I believe some of us do. I don't know if everybody does, but I know some of us do. I believe love is the power that connects the human race. I agree with that. And actually, beyond the human race, I think love actually connects all things. Mine are almost 25 and it's still crazy. Scary to be a mom. Jeez. I don't know. Does it ever get easier? I want to wrap mine in a bubble wrap before they start driving. Yeah, for real. Do loved ones ever give advice if the sitter wants to ask a direct question? Yeah, for sure. But I would treat it similarly to the way that you get advice from them if they were living. You might take it, you might not. You don't have to take what they say. They're often giving you their opinion. You're 48, your mom says no. It's my calendar working now? Let's see. Oh yeah, I do have your birth calendar, which is good. Oh yeah, the older mine get, the bigger problems it seems. A skinned knee versus a broken heart. Oof, and this broken heart's so much worse. So much worse. Oh, they're taller than you. How cute. Yes, they give advice, but it very much sounds like open-ended mom-dad advice. Yeah, they can. They can do that. Um, so for those of you who don't know, if you're not following me, do give me a follow. That's number one. Number two, for those of you who don't know, we do have a workshop that's going to combine personal development along with your mediumship for a 6-week program starting Sunday at 10 a.m. So if you're interested in that, you can visit oakbridgeinstitute.org under the events tab, and you can join us for that. It's a 6-week class taught by myself and associate therapist and medium Miranda Francis, which actually, where the hell is Miranda? She's supposed to come and be with us at some point. So I would recommend, if you are interested in doing some parts work to discover what's blocking you that might not be spiritual, that might be sort of personal development, that would be a great choice, and you should come join us. The dating scene with teens these days, I don't get it. I don't get anything about teenagers. I was one many years ago, but I still don't understand it, and especially like Gen Zers. Oh, actually, they're Gen Alphas, aren't they? At this point. I actually don't know anymore where we are. Yeah, that's true, Lori. Dating in all ages is poop. I know. And that's why I can't break up with my partner, because I dated for most of my life, 99.9% of my life. So the idea of going back to that sounds horrible. Not that I want to. I'm not thinking about it, and nor do I really want to. But I'm just saying that's definitely motivation to work it out, is what I'm saying. I'm on the shift classes. Okay, amazing. We can't wait for you to be there. So I'll see you in September. Yeah. Well, you know, divorce happens. It does happen. Hopefully for the best. My hope, Lori. You're sad for foundations to end? Well, Monami, you'll still be in with us for other classes. So it doesn't have to be the end. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. It's crazy. Man, I've never been happier not to have kids. I know this conversation was really doing that. I'm definitely doing it, probably within the next few years, to be honest. Probably in the next like 3 years, maybe. We'll see. We'll see. We got to just have some financial things in place, and then once those things are in place, then it's going to be maybe making time. But here's the thing: is you guys have it so much easier if you are heterosexual, because you get to just do it, you know. But I got to go through a whole process, and I got to find a surrogate, and I got to get an egg, and I got to genetically design my child. And then it costs a lot of money each time you do it. It's like $100,000 a baby, maybe more. And then I was recently told by someone that to not do the 2-for-1, because the development of the one of them can sometimes be negatively impacted. So it's just like, ugh. How rich am I going to have kids? And I want 3. What's that, like $300,000 or more? It's crazy. Are you nervous with everything going on right now in the government? That's a great question. Yeah, I don't know how to answer that. It's not no, but it's not yes either. Yeah, it's like almost as bad as I thought it would be, but also like we're gonna be okay sort of feeling is the feeling that I have. So yeah, it's complex. I usually don't really talk about politics too much just because, we want to leave the door open for everybody, and that can be a very isolating sort of thing. But yeah, it's interesting. It's been interesting. So true, Monami, so true. So the process you have to go through is crazy, all that money, and you have to adopt your kids. Well, I was planning on doing surrogacy. I think my brother's actually going to adopt. He has one child that they had biologically, but I think he's going to adopt, which I think is so cool. Good for him. Yes. Well, the nice thing is my partner is a South African native. So should anything be crazy, we can go to South Africa. In fact, I was just in South Africa, fun fact, in April. And South Africa is pretty cool. It's an interesting place. Like probably the weirdest, most interesting place I've ever been to. But like also in a good way, but also not in a good way. I don't know. But I like it. So that's weird. South Africa is a weird place. It almost feels like the wild, wild west, even though it's not. So that's your dream place to visit? Well, you'll love it because it's freaking rad. What's the best food I had in South Africa? Oh, that's hard. Actually, no, it's not. I fucking lied. That's not hard. I know exactly what the best food in South Africa was. Two things. The very best things I've ever had from any country of the 22 countries I've been to was the fish and chips. Their fish and chips was absolutely insanity, and it was so good. And I've been to Scotland, and I love theirs. And maybe it's not better than Scotland, but it's definitely right next to it. It's probably in the same exact level, if not more. And it was just this little tiny spot, but it's known for its fish and chips, and it were freaking insane. So love that. And then the second thing that I had that was the best thing I ate in South Africa was the scones. And I am a person who loves scones, and I eat scones everywhere I go. They were easily, by far, the best scones I've ever had in my entire life. And that was at the Lanzerac, which is a winery in Stellenbosch. So highly recommend if you ever find yourself there, go to the Lanzerac for the wine and also for the scones. Oh, I see. And her wife had to adopt them. I see. I wanted to try agusu soup or something. I've never had that. I don't even know what that is. Did you ride on an ostrich while in South Africa? I did not ride an ostrich. I didn't even know that was a thing. Did you try any African food? So yes, that's a very broad question though, because like African cultures vary greatly when you're there. And so it just is all kinds of different foods, and it depends on the culture that you're talking about in Africa. I mean, there's 11 official languages of South Africa, if I'm not mistaken. There's just a ton of different cuisine and things like that you could do. Yeah, so it's that. Where did that go? Local to the area that you stayed in. Did I try any like local food? I tried things that they're known for, like in South Africa. I actually had tiny bits of meat to taste it, to see what it would be like. And when I was there, since then though, I've become even harder plant-based. Like, so that was like the end of that. But so I won't be doing that again. But I did actually try some of the food, and I will say biltong is amazing. So that's really interesting. Yeah, biltong was crazy. That was absolutely crazy. I had one little piece, then I had to have another piece, and I may even had a couple more. So that was interesting. Yeah, you know what? I don't know that I'm going to do any readings tonight. I think I'm tired. I think I'm just pooped. I was going to do readings, and now I'm just like, ugh, it's going to be scraping the bottom of the barrel, but maybe I should. I don't know. No, I don't know that I'm going to do them just because I just don't really feel like it. I'm just kind of exhausted. But I do have readings coming up this week, and I probably should do readings because of that. I don't know. Those are my best readings. Yeah, no, you guys didn't exhaust me. I'm just exhausted. Let me see. How long until dinner? 1 second. Just gonna see. Because if dinner's gonna be ready soon, then I'm out of here. But if dinner's not gonna be ready, I might stay a little bit longer. That was some crazy fast typing. Yeah, I can type pretty much at the speed of my thinking, essentially. Allergies, Mayo, tired, Mayo, not in the mood, Mayo, best readings. I know, for real. I know. Why is that? Hey, Elise. I know. Why is that? That's crazy. Yeah, I'm still kind of up in the air. Let's see if Daniel gets back to me anytime soon. Other thoughts, other questions? Because you're tired and do less? Yeah, that's actually probably true. But sometimes it makes it harder to connect too. Miranda was supposed to jump on here. I don't know where the hell she is. I texted her. I was like, jump on whenever you want, but I had a feeling she wasn't gonna. Speaking of that, I have another validation. Last psychic reading, amnesia is real. Okay, Crystal. Well, here's how psychic amnesia works for me too. Oh my goodness, he said probably 40 minutes. Depression. I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry. Okay, well, guess that means I'm doing a reading. So let's do it, shall we? Just make a request to come up, and I'll just pick someone, and we'll go from there. So yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna look at the list here that I have here. I'm just gonna go with wherever I feel drawn. Please hold. Please hold. Oof. Which one is it? I think I'm going to do this. It's between you and one other person that I was kind of drawn to, but let's see. Hello.
Okay.
How you doing, Chantal?
Pretty good. This is my first time ever watching you, so.
Oh my gosh, this is the first time you ever watched me. That's crazy. Okay,
Yeah, I
well,
just followed you today.
I'm just excited that you did and that you're here. So normally I do spirit led, but I figured, yeah, why don't we shift it and just go direct today? And so, what we can do? I'm just going to explain to you how I work, especially since you haven't seen me work. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start by just kind of becoming sensitive, and I'm just going to be noticing. Were you wanting a mediumship reading or a psychic reading, or do you not care?
Yeah, either, honestly.
Either.
Just see where we go.
Okay, great. So I'm just going to start to become sensitive, and then we will see where we go. I'll just sort of let it do what it's going to do. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to describe what I'm aware of, and then whether it's a person or whether it's a reading. Sorry, not a reading. Whether it's a person or whether it's a psychic reading. All I need from you is to just say yes if you can understand it, no if you can't. If you're not sure or you need more information, you can say that. Okay. And that's what I want you to do. At the end, you're welcome to give me any feedback that you want to. But yes, let's keep it at that for now. We'll see how we go. I mean, I'm a little bit tired and whatever, but maybe it'll make it work better. Who knows? Okay, so I'm going to, okay, yeah, I'm starting to feel a lady stepping forward here for you. Would it make sense that you have a lady in spirit? It feels grandmotherly as I feel her. And I feel like I need to go, actually, ooh, let me just see where they're taking me because it might not actually be. Let me just relax into her a little bit more. Yeah, no, definitely like that grandma age. And as I feel her, stepping in here, I feel as though I need to talk about, I don't know if this is, I want to say like maybe humble beginnings in her family as I'm talking about this. And it feels to me as I want to talk about like making it work with kind of a little bit is what it feels like. But it feels like as I talk about her, there's more success that kind of comes along as she gets older. Does any of this make sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
Can you understand with this grandma? Is this mom's mom that you're thinking of?
Yes.
Okay, great. Because as I feel her stepping in, I want to talk about what feels almost as if I need to say there's like a mixture of things. So hold on. So now lots of things are starting to come in. Where do I want to start with this? Ooh, okay, let me talk about her personality first, and then we'll go from there. As I feel her, the big thing that I can feel is this sort of kind of nose to the grindstone sort of feeling, almost this feeling of like she had a lot of these responsibilities that she had to like keep the family and that sort of thing. And I do feel she would have been with her partner for a long time. Does this make sense to you?
Yep, that's correct.
And as I feel him, he would also be in spirit with her. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. As I feel him, can you understand, because he just started stepping in here next to her, can you also understand that he would have had, I don't know, he's showing me the sea and boats and this sort of thing. And I feel as though I need to make him younger when he was by either the sea or the ships or the boats. Does this make sense to you?
Okay, yeah, I can understand that.
Okay, and can you also understand with her, I want to talk about, I feel as if two things. One, I feel that you would have been able to see her a lot more when you were younger, but when you got older, she would have been maybe a distance away where you had to kind of like make the trip to go there. Does that make sense?
That's correct.
And then can you also understand with her too? I feel this like excitement to see the grandkids. And when I say that, I feel like I want to say you and two others. Can you understand that? So like this would be like either two siblings or like the cousin total might be two more. Can you understand that?
Oh, I see. Close.
Okay. Let me see. Would this have been three more?
Yeah.
Okay. That was partly because you said close, and I was back to her, and I was like, "What? Is it up or is it down?" And she was like, "Up." And I'm like, "Okay, great." As I talk about this too, she refers to, who is that? Another female. that I feel would be close in age to you or closest in age to you? Does this make sense? I feel like I want to make her like 3-ish years from you. Does that make sense to you? No, you're not sure about that. Let me just keep working with her and see where she's taking me. I definitely need to talk about a female that feels like 3 years, sort of similar age to you, but I'm not 100% sure where she's going with this. So let me just work with it just for a second. Let me relax into her just a little bit more and get a stronger blending. I know this sounds very grandmotherly, but can you understand her with the cooking and the kind of working hands, almost, I need to say? Does that make sense to you?
Working hands make sense, yes.
Okay, can you also understand with this, because what she showed me is like, looks like sort of arthritic-y sort of hands later in her life. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
I also feel as though I need to talk about you as I'm saying this. Would you understand that she would have passed when you were not like fully an adult? Like, I want to say like teenage-ish years. Does that make sense to you?
No, actually.
Okay, can you understand why she's bringing me to 14? She's taking me to 14. I don't need you to tell me the reason, but does that make sense to you? Almost like it's been a long time since her passing? Because you keep showing me 14, and I was taking that to mean 14 years. Does that make sense to you?
14 years? No.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
Let me just see why she's bringing this up, because it feels like a time. It feels like a time, and I'm just going to throw it back to her. Would the 14th make sense as an important date for the family or someone in the family that you know of? Like an anniversary or a birthday or something like that?
That comes to mind. I just thought of all the birthdays and none of them were the 14.
Okay.
So,
I will leave it there because I don't want to try to make it fit if it's not making sense. But let me relax a little bit more into her and sort of see where we go. I feel like when I talk about her energy and I talk about your grandfather's energy, there's a feeling of him being on the little bit more of the either. No, hold on. Let me relax into that just a little more because it started to shift. Okay, hold on. Where are we going with this? Can you understand with your grandfather, there's this feeling of, I can't tell if this is him either being quieter or if there's a feeling of like more focused in his like duty or work in some way. Does this make sense to you? Because I just am feeling this little bit of this gap here for some reason.
Maybe. They were very different from each other.
Yeah, and there's this feeling of, I almost need to say, I can definitely feel that difference. I'm just trying to notice which direction it's going, because it feels as though one of them feels more of that gregarious, warm, sort of jokey quality, and the other one feels a little bit more like practical, kind of needs to kind of keep things together, sort of roping things along. Does this make sense?
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna be honest, I don't actually know where that is landing yet. Would it make sense that that's more him? Like he's more of the one that is a little bit more of the maybe jokey, sort of sweeter sort of quality. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct.
Because as I saw him, there was almost this picture or feeling of him like almost doing like one of those, like, here's a coin from behind your ear, I got your nose, like sort of being like silly in that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah. For sure.
Can you understand why? I don't want to say why. That's an annoying phrasing that I'm using. Can you understand that that there would have been memories of playing cards with your grandfather, or dominoes or something like that?
Yeah. Playing cards is very significant.
Yeah, because I just feel like we're sitting around. And as I say that too, for some reason, I feel like I need to go to like a cabin or like it feels like on a trip for some reason. Can you understand that?
Yeah.
I also feel here too. Would it make sense that this that there would be two boys as well connected to him? I think that would be like your mom and two boys. Can you understand that?
Oh, like her siblings?
Yeah.
You think one boy.
One
Oh, no,
boy.
you're right. Two boys. Sorry.
Okay, thanks. Because as I was feeling this, I feel like I want to connect to them, and I have to say that one of the sons he had a harder time with. Can you understand that?
Yeah.
Because I feel like a closeness with one of them, and then I feel a little bit of a difficulty with the other, and I need to take one of them to the age of 18. Would it sense that at the age of 18, one of them would have either left the house or would have like gone off somewhere?
Yep.
Because I feel as though there's sort of this like very sharp shift in that relationship, and it's almost like I'm out of here sort of feeling. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that sure does.
And I can feel that with this person. I guess I'll call him your uncle because that's probably what you would call him. I feel like with your uncle, he's referring to that being a difficult kind of pain point for your grandfather. Can you understand that?
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like they never spoke again, but it feels like the relationship feels kind of in and out. Can you understand that?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And I can feel him wanting to talk about that just as more of a thing that he wishes would have been different. Is the feeling that I get here. What is this? Would you understand, Chantal, would you understand? I don't know. When I just glanced at your picture for some reason, something flashed. And what flashed, and this might be psychic and less mediumistic, but can you understand the. I feel like I need to talk about a male who recently, and they're living, a male who would have recently either broke up or had like the ending of a relationship. And I want to say this is someone you know, not you specifically, like not you and this person. It feels to me more like you're aware of them currently in like the sort of disappointment, grievy sort of space. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah. It was pretty recent, but I think he's out of it, hopefully.
Okay. This may be the way of them to kind of get my attention to this person in particular. I feel as though I want to. This would be a friend of yours, correct?
Oh, no.
Okay. But you can understand that. That might just me being wrong about the friendship part. But you can understand that there's a gentleman who would have recently had a breakup that is close to you that you know, correct?
Yes.
Okay, fabulous. Because I just feel like my attention's being drawn to him, and I feel like I need simultaneously. There's something that feels very freeing about this this ending. Can you understand that?
Yeah.
Because I feel this feeling from him, or that they're giving me about him, is there's a hopefulness that is stirring or brewing here with him. Would that make sense?
Yeah.
Would you also understand either a recent trip where he had to fly recently? Can you understand that? If that's not recent, it's coming up. Can you understand that?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, because this feels like a big thing that I feel hopeful and excited about for some reason that I'm feeling. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we just moved.
Fabulous. Would that be overseas though, or you just take a plane?
Yeah, plane.
Okay, got it. Because that's what I originally wanted to say was overseas, and that didn't feel right. I wanted to say, and that's why I went to plane. So that makes sense. What I want to give, like, I'm just kind of offering to them what else they want to give to you. Give me 1 second, as I just feel them a little bit more. Can you understand with your grandmother, I know I mentioned the hardworking sort of quality there with her. That part still makes sense, yes?
Mhm.
But can you also understand the difficulty that would have been there with her and your mom as well?
Yeah.
Because as I feel this, it feels like a lot of either pressure or maybe even like criticism was something that your mom had to deal with. Can you understand that?
Yes.
Because she's talking about that, and then she's also making me aware. Well, this is what she's making me feel, that sometimes that criticism was warranted. Can you understand that?
Yes.
Because she's talking about the difficulty that sort of seems to be kind of going down the line a little bit within the family. Can you understand that?
Yep.
And she's making me aware that that's something that you've had to kind of deal with within your relationship to mom. Is that correct?
Yep.
And she's telling me, as she tells me this, um, she kind of looks at you with compassion. I feel this sense of having to kind of essentially say, like, I understand. And I also feel like she's taking a little bit of responsibility also. Can you understand where she would be taking responsibility for kind of how mom is?
Yes. Most definitely.
Yeah. Because she's saying, I wasn't easy, and that translated down the line. It kind of feels like this like ripple effect.
Yeah.
I feel really I also feel the sense of encouragement. Would there be a birthday in November?
Yeah.
And I wanted to go back to 14, but I think that's just my brain. I don't think it's 14. But you can understand a birthday in November, because I just feel like I need to say that. Hold on. Let me just relax back into this. Oh, I can't tell what that is. I want to say Thomas, but I know that it's not. I feel like I need to go to. Let me just see what's important about this. Thomas. I keep hearing. I don't hear Thomas. I keep thinking Thomas, but I feel like that's my brain more than anything. Let me relax a little bit more and just feel into this a little bit more. Would you be able to understand either like George or Harris? Would either of those land with you?
Not that I can think of.
I just heard George, and I just felt Harris. So I want to just give that to you. I don't know why, but we're just gonna go there. I want to say those things. Let me just see what else is here. I feel, where are you going? I feel like your grandfather is can you understand with grandpa, he could be a little bit passive? Like the feeling feels like um sometimes giving in to kind of keep the peace. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Is what it feels like. I feel like he didn't really like to have kind of conflict and that sort of thing, and it kind of would get he could get pushed to that point, but in general he tried to kind of diffuse it. Can you understand that?
Yes.
And then would you also be able to take a black and white dog?
Yes.
Because I just saw a black and white dog. Would this dog be in spirit?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I just saw it. Would it be sort of like a terrier size?
Oh, there's one of those too.
Okay.
So, yeah, I guess.
You're like, not the one that I really liked.
That's what I was thinking of, but yeah.
Because I just saw that one. And then would the other one be like more like a shepherdy type of dog? Would that make sense? Because I can feel that there. Let me keep working here as I feel. Where do you want to go? You just take me where you want to go. We'll just go there. Because I was like here for students, like it's that moment where like there's not something, and so then you go, well, where's the next thing? And so I'm trying to do the exact opposite of that and go like, anywhere you want to go, we can go there. Would you understand? I can't tell. Okay, I'll just tell you what I'm experiencing and we'll go from there. They just started showing me sort of like a deserty sort of vibe, and it feels like I can't. I'm just gonna say a deserty vibe.
Yeah.
Hold on, I'm gonna get there in a second. I'm like trying to understand the context here a little bit. It feels like a place that would be familiar, somewhere that I've either been to quite a bit, and I almost want to say that is connected to the grandparents. That it would feel more kind of either deserty or something like that. Does that make sense? I'm not 100% on that, but
Yes.
okay, you can understand that. And then would you also be able to take? Is there a May birthday also? It might be an anniversary.
Oh, yeah, there's an anniversary.
Yeah, okay. Because as I said, birthday didn't feel right. And I was like, oh, I think this is anniversary. Because they just flashed that. Would this be related to a male, this anniversary?
Yeah.
Is it their anniversary? That's a question. That's not really me getting that. So let me take that back. Guys, this is me when I'm in like the I don't give a F moment where I'm just kind of like, I don't know, let's throw this out there because I'm tired. Which sometimes is actually a good thing, but we'll keep working. What I can feel, Chantal, is that I feel from your grandparents this. Oh, sorry, I just got flashed something. Can you understand a burial and also a cremation? Does that make sense to you?
Burial, yes.
But can you understand also a cremation that is maybe not one of those two, but like connected to them?
Yeah.
Because I just feel like I saw a burial and like a service and something being laid over the casket. I can't tell if that's a flag or if that's something else, but it feels to me like a sheet or a cloth or something like that related to the casket. Can you understand that?
Yes.
Because they just flashed me this, and then, but then it was funny because they showed me then an urn, and I feel like wherever they are interned, there's an urn connection with them also, but not necessarily.
Not directly them, yeah, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like kind of within the family or something like that. Yeah, is what they just showed me. Okay. Would there be, and I'm just going to throw it out there just because we're just throwing everything out there today, would there be a Laura connection?
Yes.
Okay. Because I just heard a Laura and actually heard. So that's why I decided to give it. Let me just see here. What else is here? Would you understand spirituality being important to you, but maybe not necessarily important to them?
Yeah, correct. And very recently important to me. So.
Yeah, because just as I was kind of moving away, they flashed me your spiritual work, or not spiritual work, but spiritual interest. And then they flashed me that that's not really their thing. Like that wasn't really their thing in their life. And as I feel that, they feel a little bit more like practical, pragmatic, logical sort of vibe. Can you understand that?
Yeah.
Which is actually interesting because you have that too, actually. Like there's a quality of you being that more practical, pragmatic sort of thing. And then on top of that, you have this other sort of woo-woo-y spiritual sort of vibe. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I think the marrying of these two is really your sweet spot. And that's where you feel like the best. Is when the practical sort of evidence-based practice matches this. Can you understand? Like your spiritual self. Does that make sense?
Yeah, was just talking about that today. So
Yeah. Okay. And that might be the way that they're showing me that they were with you. And I feel like there's a lot of really awesome opportunity for you to cultivate and develop that. And just this is partially Michael, but it also popped into my head, so I'm going to give it to you. Might be a really cool reading resource for you is the what's it called? The Bigelow Institute. There was like the best scientific evidence essays for continuation of consciousness after death, and I feel like you'd really enjoy that. So I'm just going to throw that at you.
Yeah. I'll look into that.
Because that feels right to say to you. What I can feel from your grandparents is this strong feeling of like we did our best. And I feel like by the time we hit your level within the family, there's improvements around kind of, for lack of a better word, kind of like breaking cycles. Can you understand that?
Yeah.
Because it just feels like in your section, like everybody's kind of aware of that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, very much.
And it feels as though that they're making me feel like applauding you for you guys doing that, like the grandkids really working on that and working on themselves. I just feel a lot of love around that as well. So if it's okay with you, Chantel, I'm going to leave you with their love.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're so welcome. If there's anything that you wanted to validate or share, you can do so now. You don't have to, but
I'm in the desert, New Mexico. So
I was gonna. That's funny because I was like Nevada, Arizona. Where the hell is this? And that's why I didn't say it. Which I'm glad I didn't, because I would have said the wrong place. But I was like, it's definitely deserty. So yeah.
There you go. Spot on. Otherwise, you described their relationship. Definitely. Yeah.
Very good. And then, how did Laura fit? Out of
Oh
curiosity.
yeah, my mom's name is Lori.
Ah, okay, cool.
Well,
Okay.
that's the one you were describing. What the tumultuous relationship with your mom. So.
Yes.
And the uncle who left at 18 and really never spoke to anybody again. And
Yeah.
became homeless and substance abuse.
Yeah. Thank you for hopping on and being in the live, and hopefully I'll get to see you again and read for you again.
Yeah, glad I found today. That's great. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you. Bye. Okay, guys, I did the thing. I said what I said I would do, which is a reading. So that was a different way, right? Like, was obviously me going direct, which is something I don't do that often, just because I think it's more entertaining doing it the other way. But there we go. That was cool. And now dinner will be ready. Was that 40 minutes? I hope it was, because I'm freaking hungry. And I don't think it was 40 minutes. So I think it was like 20. But I actually don't know, because I was just really focused and lost in the communicators. But it was cool to have them step in and give some details. I think in the beginning I was a little bit not as blended with the communicator, and then like probably like a third of the way in, I started to feel that blending a little bit clearer, which was good. Which is good, because I actually wanted to do a direct mediumship reading, just because I'm going to do mediumship this week and also spiritual assessment this week. Spiritual assessments are pretty fun for me, just because I get to just like go into psychic mode and just sort of look at the colors in your aura and look at what potentials the spirit's developing with you and a bit of your journey spiritually, which is pretty awesome. Yes, my books are open again. And so that's pretty fun. And then what else? The other cool thing. Yeah. So my books are open again. Should you feel like you want to do that. But yeah. If you're not following me, do that. So yeah. Would I do a spiritual assessment on live? Yeah, actually, I would. If someone was like, hey, can you do a spiritual assessment? If I connected with them, I would definitely do that. Spiritual assessments are fun. Yeah, they're cool because they kind of talk about your spiritual journey. And even if you're not like in a spiritual, development pathway, they can show some things. But yeah, that was fun. Is there a cat meowing for me? Please hold. I have to check on the cat. What are you doing, Uncle Boof? You want dinner? Is that what you want, my little fat baby? Oh, my chunky boy. Oh, it's my chunk. Look at the camera so the people can see you. Yes, you're very cute. But he's like, get off of me, father. You'll get volunteers for that assessment here. I know, yeah. He's like so angry. He's like, feed me, daddy. Blue eyes, baby. Blue eyes. Yes. He hates that. You can tell by his little ears. I went direct tonight, Green Lady. I did do that. I went direct, which is fine. So I enjoy doing it, but I think it's more fun to do Spirit Led just because then I just make my strong link first rather than wait to make the strong link once they're there. But you know, it's all good. He ran away from me. He runs away from everybody when he first meets them. He's kind of a shy boy like that. Analytical mind, which I can relate. Sitting in the house helped me settle my busy mind. That's exactly what it's meant to do. That's exactly it. Do you do animal communication or animal mediumship? Yeah, absolutely, 100%. So, not animal communication. I'm not an animal communicator, but I do bring through pets in the spirit. Thanks, Janelle. Mediumship in your true self workshop at oakbridgeinstitute.org. What a good moderator you are to to remind me to talk about that. So we do have that coming up on Sunday morning, 10 a.m. to 12. That is an option for you guys if you're interested in both your mediumship development and your personal development. So that is something that you can do. I also have a Shift Network class that's coming up called the Surrender Method. And it's where we're going to focus on desire, distraction, and expectation. And helping you with your mediumship. If you're interested in that, you can always email me at mediummichaelmayo and I'll send you my sign up link for that. So if you're interested in doing that, that will be in when? September, some point in September. On that note, though, if you're not following me, do give me a follow. I am going to leave it here because I do need to go have dinner. But thank you, everybody, for chatting with me, hanging out with me today. It was really fun. I'm glad we got to do message and do direct, which is a different thing. And I look forward to working with you guys soon. Thank you, everybody.